so I'm Curry Wynn, and I'm going to talk about one of the most profound topics in computer science, the singularity. And I'm going to start off by a quote from Stephen Hawking, which will kind of give you a sense of where this talk is going. So here's the quote. "The development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. It would take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate. Humans who are limited by slow biological evolution couldn't compete and would be superseded." So this sounds a little far-fetched, but that's because you're used to AI that is soft. That is, we can get computers to do things that human beings can do with intelligence, but we don't consider these to be intelligent machines. And the reason is, what makes you so special is that you can do all of those things. You can solve a wide variety of problems. You can encounter a problem tomorrow that you've never seen before. Computers can't do that, but that's the goal of strong AI, is to make computers so that they can have human-level abilities to solve a wide variety of problems. Suppose we succeed, and we create a computer that is as intelligent as a person. Well, with advances in hardware, it's likely to become a little bit more intelligent. And then what if we set it the task of creating an intelligent machine? So it can create its own another AI. It's better than we are, so the AI it creates will be better than the one that we created. It will be better than itself. And then in turn, that progeny can create more AIs, each successive, a little better than the last one. This will result in exponential growth in intelligence. Not just a little bit smarter than people, but hundreds or thousands or millions or even billion times more intelligent than a human being. So what would our future look like? Well, maybe we can harness that power. And computers can take care of our basic material and survival needs, and we can become self-actualized, and we can boldly go where humans haven't gone before. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that we put computers in control of our economy and our military, and we can't quite line up our goals with their goals, and it leads to calamity for human beings. So that's possible. Here's why we think this is inevitable. In the next couple of years, we're going to make machines that have the computational capacity of your brain. And by 2045, if this trend continues, one computer will have more power than all human brains combined. So how are we going to control these machines? How are we going to, when they have to make ethical decisions about your lives, what's going to be the foundation for it? So Isaac Asimov approached this problem in his book, I, Robot, and he said, here's how we're going to do it. We're going to hard code rules into fixed rules that they have to follow. Right? And he had three rules, three famous rules of robotics. Rule number one is don't hurt human beings. Rule number two is obey all human beings, even if they're really annoying little kids. And number three is don't allow yourself to be destroyed, unless, of course, it violates rules one or two. And in all of Asimov's stories and in science fiction since then, we've explored how this doesn't work. That is, having fixed rules just don't work for a complex world. That is, you have to look at kind of individual situations. So how do we do that? Well, we use empathy and compassion in evaluating how to respond to ethical simulation or situations. That's what we're going to have computers do. They're going to have the ability to feel things like we feel if they're going to have the same kind of beliefs and values that we have. And that means that one of the things they're going to have to be able to do is suffer. Because that's how you develop your sense of empathy. Not just sympathy, but empathy with other people, is you have the ability to suffer. Well, imagine what our moral responsibility then would be if we create millions of machines that suffer. But it's even worse than that. We also think that human beings suffering is kind of more important than animal suffering. And why do we think that? Well, because we have more cognitive capabilities than animals. But we're talking about creating machines that have much more intellectual capacity than we will have. So wouldn't their suffering matter more than ours? So we're in a situation just like physicists were in the 1930s. They knew they could extract this power from the atom. They didn't know quite how to do it, but they knew it was possible. That's where we are with artificial intelligence. We know that this is possible, that we could actually develop this technology. We're not quite sure how, but it's there. But the problem is, we haven't worked out the consequences of this, and if we need to, what we need to do over the next couple of years is really delve into these ethical and moral considerations, because the fate of humanity depends on them.
You decided to actively choose your life's path instead of passively wait for it to happen? Or what if you played the script forward? That is the magic of thinking ahead. This is Magnus Carlsen. I want you to meet him. He is 26 years old, and he's called the Mozart of chess because he's won the World Chess Championships 5 years in a row. Magnus claims every single move he's thinking 15 to 20 moves ahead in the game. So my question for you is this. What if you were the Magnus of your life and you thought 15 to 20 moves ahead, every single decision? So every time you had a major life decision, you asked yourself, if I took this step, what path am I choosing? And do I want to be on this path? See, and let me be clear, if you choose not to decide, you're still deciding because someone else will make the decision for you. Because if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Let's start with your money, my favorite topic, right? Before you make a financial decision, a big one, do you stop and think, what are the consequences of my decision? You see, what if you got a mortgage that you can't afford, and 2008 comes and the market crashes by 18%? What are you going to do? Have you built a tower, but you haven't counted the cost? Every choice you make, you're building something. You're building a career, you're building a relationship. In some cases, you're building a business. But so often we build towers, and we forget that someday we're going to have to pay the price. America has built her towers. The average U.S. household owes $234,000. Do you think this was by design, or do you think they let the winds of fate take them where they may? So my question to you is, do you rule money, or does money rule you? For the students in the room, do you know where your major is taking you? So often I meet students, and they chose careers because they like their classes, but when they get into the work world, they don't actually like the jobs in that world. So why did you choose this career? Are you ready for your transition? What about your personal career path? It's a path. Do you know the steps that you're taking to get there? Do you know the options available on that path? And if you don't like the path that you're taking, what are you going to do to change it? How are you going to take control of your life? If this quote resonates with you, you might be one of the entrepreneurs in the room. Because entrepreneurs would rather bet on themselves than anyone else. They truly believe the best way to predict the future is to take it in their own hands and create it. So what kind of company do you want to build? Do you want to build a lifestyle company? Lifestyle companies are built to support an entrepreneur's lifestyle. I think the adage that works best is, they don't live to work, they work to live. Is that the kind of company you want to build? Or maybe you want to go big, maybe you want to build a growth company. Be a startup. We got some startup entrepreneurs in the room. You know, you want to have a chance to create something new, something that no one's created before. You want to be like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg. But those jobs have costs. You work night and day for a decade to cash out and to make a difference. I think Bill Gates said it best. I never took a day off in my 20s, not a single day. If you want to build a growth company that's successful, are you ready to pay the price? And then for the entrepreneurs in the room, once you've built your company, how are you planning on cashing out? This is the question that my company lives for, because we see so many business owners who put their blood, sweat, and tears into a project, into a business, and they have no idea what the finish line looks like for them. What's your finish line? Do you want to transition to your kids? Awesome. Does your kid even want it? And if he does want it, do you have a succession plan in place for him to take over the company? And do you have a way to get paid out so when he takes over, you can live the life that you want to live? Same question with your employees. It often takes 5 to 7 years to adequately transition to your employees. And you know what? When in the middle of that, you better not give control over to them 100% because they might destroy your payout potential. Maybe you want to sell to a third party, right? Isn't that the dream, to cash out, sell to a third party? But if you want to do that, you need a management team in place that can run the company without you. You need to work to get your EBITDA numbers up, and you better know that they're going to open every closet door and every skeleton, look for every skeleton, because capital, at the end of the day, is a coward. So for the students in the room, have you thought ahead? Are you ready to transition your career? Don't end up on graduation day wringing your hands wondering, where am I going and what am I doing? prepared. And for the entrepreneurs in the room too, what do you want out of your business? You know, why'd you start it, and do you want to leave it? Because if you know the start and you know the finish, the path is so much clearer, and you'll know when you lost your way. But for everyone in this room, I want you to be an active participant in your life. The last thing I want is for you to wake up one day, look around, and say, how the heck did I get here? Instead, play the script forward and always remember there's magic in thinking ahead. Thank you.
All right, how many of you have mentors? Raise your hand. Mentees? Anybody mentee? Okay. Well, one of the things about mentoring is a way to grow and develop, and not only to develop others, but to help develop yourself. So I'm going to give you some ideas in 5 minutes about exceptional mentoring. There's 2 components of mentoring. One is this friendship piece of it, building confidence, approachability, but it's more than friendship. If it was just friends, we call them friends, not mentors. So an important piece, though, is this confidence and being approachable. The other piece is giving direction. Whatever field it is that you're trying to sort out, whether it's a discipline, who you should talk to, what are the assignments you should take on. But it's more than just providing guidance, because if it was just that, it would be your supervisor or perhaps a coach. But when we combine these things, we get more than the sum of its parts. So mentoring is the friendship and the career development, but when you put it together in an incredibly transforming relationship, you have something that's a bicycle you can ride around and get somewhere really interesting about. Now the skills are really important. A lot of people think that, oh, anyone can mentor. Well, it's more than just war stories. Learning to listen and be reflective is an incredibly important part of mentoring. And it provides new perspectives. Mentoring helps you meet new people, develop new networks, think about new ideas. And if that's not happening, you want to find another relationship to invest in. The other critical piece is that in a really transformative mentoring relationships, you celebrate successes, but you also can share lows. A lot of times mentors don't want to share when it didn't go so well because they're worried about they might not be perceived very competent. But it's important to be able to talk about both of those things in really effective relationships. And then you have growth in unexpected places. That's the fantastic piece about mentoring, is you start to have learning, new ways of thinking about your career and your personal life that you wouldn't expect. Mentoring duplicates itself like memes or DNA, and it's not always a good duplication. And what I'm about here is great mentoring, good mentoring. So you want to think about the ways that you interact with others that transform. Another idea is we often think about mentors as just this one-on-one intense relationship, but the fact is you can have just a mentor-like interaction, an exchange that really helps you see things differently, and that too can be an important part of mentoring in today's flatter careers where you move around a lot. When you start to have a lot of informal mentoring interactions, you get things like a culture of mentoring in an organization, where people are engaging formally and informally in mentoring as part of their work, which then leads to a learning organization, which is critically important for today's businesses. How do you stay learning? How do you stay on top of your field and what's going on as you have a lot of these connections? Learning organizations are the ones that are going to succeed. Now, what are some benefits? Ends up people who have mentors make more money. Well, that's pretty good. But the organizations also tend to make more money because they engage employees in ways that make them want to stay with the organization. People are more satisfied at work when they're involved in mentoring relationships, either as a mentor or as a mentee. And again, this speaks to job retention, not having to pay a lot of money to find new employees. So this sort of psychosocial benefit of satisfaction is also important. But there's also benefits for the mentors, which you don't often think about. We often think about what's just happening to the mentee or the junior person. Mentors get a feeling of giving back, living a legacy, gives them a feeling of satisfaction, engagement with their organization. These kind of engagements then put a trajectory that have organizational benefits to keep people really engaged at work and enjoying what they're doing and sharing knowledge across peers, hierarchical relationships. Why do we want to do mentoring? It's a desire for an authentic connection, and that's increasingly important in today's workforce. It's mobile, people move around a lot, and a really key piece of that is the millennials, which are making up now more than half of our workforce. And when you look at what millennials really value at work in terms of training and professional development, mentoring and coaching as part of professional development is an incredibly key piece of that. So if you're going to think about engaging your workforce and meeting a need of a group that's really interested in mentoring, there's the business case alone, is to keep that workforce really engaged. Now, finally, the way that you do this is through formal mentoring, which hopefully begets informal mentoring opportunities. And I've actually written an entire book all about that, and we have programs on that in the Swain Center. So I'm a huge fan and a friendly critic of mentoring. And if you're not a great mentor, I hope you learned a few things so you can become one. Thank you.